So agenda for our today's session is what is column level security? So what are masking policies in Snowflake and what is dynamic data masking and how can we create those masking policies? How can we apply them? How can we alter them or how can we drop them? So we are going to discuss about all those things in today's session. So what is column level security first of all? So column level security in Snowflake allows us the application of masking. Suppose if masking is an application, masking policy, so we can apply that policy on a table, on a columns, on a table or view. Okay, suppose why we use this column level security? Definitely to protect the uh, sensitive information of customers like PHI. You know PHI, right? Because you must be aware of the insurance policies and there are some health information. Okay, protected health information. PHI means protected health information of customers and the bank balance details of customers. So these are the sensitive information. And I don't want the customer is asking us, I don't want to see all the users should not see my account balance or my PHI information. So you please hide it from your tables. So in that case, so suppose account balance is a just only one field in the customer table. Okay, so how can you hide that data only one field from the other users? Okay, if you want to hide entire table, that is not good because we need the data for analysis. But I want to hide only that bank balance. Okay, or I want to hide only that health information of the customer. So how can we do that? So that's why we implement column level security on those fields. Okay, so column level security allows us. Okay, so we can create some masking policies and apply that masking policy. You know what is meant by masking, right? So it's hiding or applying something uh, uh, to hide the original thing, right? So here we create masking policies and we apply them on the table, table or views columns. Okay, so we can apply on any column from a table or from a view. So that's how we provide column level security by hiding the data. So in in Snowflake, column level security include two features. Okay, one is dynamic data masking and one is external tokenization. Okay, so we'll discuss about mostly dynamic data masking because we cannot apply external tokenization here. So what is dynamic data masking? Dynamic data masking is the process of hiding data by masking with other characters. Okay, suppose if I have some PHI information, so instead of PHI information, I can simply put stars. Okay, if I have bank balance, instead of bank balance, I can simply put zeros or 999, some default number for every customer. Okay, so we can apply those masking policies by using dynamic data masking. So we can create masking policies to hide the data present in the columns that can be in a table or in a view. Okay, and when it comes to the tokenization, so we'll discuss about dynamic data masking in detail in the next slides. Okay, so just a small description. So what is mean by dynamic data masking and what is mean by external tokenization? So tokenization is the process of hiding sensitive data by replacing it with some ciphertext. So you must have idea on some ciphertext, right? So what is meant by ciphertext? So if you know what is decoding and encoding, then you will get some idea on ciphertext. So instead of the original name, suppose if I have my name in a table, Janardhan. So instead of that name, there will be ciphertext. That means decode it to some other name. Okay, whenever we encode it back again, it will come as Janardhan. Okay, so like that we can apply on the tables. Okay, we can replace the original text with some ciphertext. But the external tokenization makes use of masking policies with external functions. Okay, so we cannot directly apply external tokenization on our tables. We have to define some external functions. Okay, and those external functions should be created at the external cloud provider side. Okay, so suppose if we are using Azure or if we are loading the data from Azure or loading the data from AWS, so these functions should be external tokenization function should be created at the cloud provider level, and whenever we run our queries, so those tokenization will be applied and the data will be converted into some ciphertext. So in practice, we cannot do this, and most of the organizations even don't follow this. Okay, so everyone follows dynamic data masking to hide the temporary data. So these are the two security features Snowflake is offering for implementing the column level security. So we are going to discuss only about dynamic data masking today. Okay. So let's go in detail. What is dynamic data masking? What is masking policies? How to create them? How to apply them? Okay. So what is a masking policy? What is a masking policy? This is important. You may get an interview question. So Snowflake supports masking policies to protect sensitive data from unauthorized access while allowing authorized users to access the query at runtime. So what will happen whenever you create some masking policy, okay, and you apply it on some table column, what will happen? So unauthorized users, that means in the masking policy itself, we can define who is authorized to access the data, who is not authorized to access the data. So whenever you apply that policy on the table, then only that guy, whoever is authorized, then only he can see that information, the hidden information from the table. Unauthorized users, so we specify who are the unauthorized users in this policy, so they cannot see that information from that column. Okay, so that's how we apply masking policies. So what is masking policy? It is the way of hiding the sensitive data from unauthorized access while allowing the authorized users to access the data at query runtime. So in the so you may get a question. So how it is stored in the storage layer? So it will be stored in the storage layer with the normal text only. Okay. But whenever you apply, whenever you run some query, then only the masking policy will applied on that column. And while trying to display the data, it will display the hide data. Okay. It will display that masked characters. It will display some default numbers like that. So in the actual storage layer, it stores like as it is, the original data will be stored, but whenever it is query is fetching the results and displaying it, it will display with the masking policy applied over that. Okay, so that is called masking policies. It's the way of hiding the sensitive data from unauthorized access. Okay, and masking policies are schema level objects. That means you can create a separate schema for masking policies, and you can store all your masking policies under that schema. Okay, these are the database object itself. You can see those masking policies. Okay, and masking policies can include conditions and functions to transform the data when those conditions are met. That means, so if you want to hide your data based on some condition or based on some role, okay, so you can apply those roles and conditions in the masking policy. Okay, in the policy definition, we can check those conditions, we can check those roles. So when the conditions are met, then only those users can access the data. Otherwise it will not show the actual data, it will show the hide data. Okay. And same masking policy can be applied on multiple columns. Okay, suppose I have one column, I am using the same column in number of tables. Suppose customer table, product table, there will be many tables. If I am using any column on many tables, okay, and I want to hide that column from all the tables, so we can create only one masking policy and you can apply on multiple columns. Okay, so if you see this diagram, you will get some understanding. Okay, this policy, the first thing is the policy admin is there, right? So this policy admin can create the policies. Okay, so if you see this, here he is creating a masking policy. So this policy, he is applying some conditions, role level conditions or column level conditions. He is applying some conditions and he is creating a masking policy. And this masking policy can be applied on different objects and different columns. So if you see here, I have database one and I have table one and I have column one. That means I am applying on the column, I am applying this masking policy on column one of table one that is present in the database one. Okay, like that I can apply it on column one of u1. So I have some views in my database, I can apply the same masking policy on that view also. Okay, and I have, so like that we can apply on any number of tables and columns. Okay. And if you see the last one, database n, that means n number of columns, we can apply the same masking policy based on our requirement. Okay. So this is about here policy admin is nothing but sysadmin can create the policies. Okay. And even account admin can create the policies and he can apply. Okay. So sysadmin will create some masking policies and he will apply on the tables wherever we want to hide the data, wherever we want to protect the sensitive information, he can apply that masking policies. So this is the diagram of dynamic data masking or masking policy. You can easily understand by using this. Okay. I hope you are understanding. Okay. If any doubts, you will get cleared in the next slides or while doing the lab session. So now what is dynamic data masking? So why we call it as dynamic data masking? Okay. So sensitive data in Snowflake is not modified in an existing table. So if we are talking about the column level security, so you should not understand like you are modifying the data and storing it in the table. Okay. It's not like that. So whenever you store some data, it will be stored in the normal format only. Okay. But whenever you fetch the data, okay, based on the masking policy we have applied, it will display the masked data. Okay. And it will apply the masking policy dynamically. That means whenever you submit your query, okay, then while fetching the data dynamically, if we have defined any masking policies on that column, it will apply that dynamic masking and it will display the data. It will display the masked data. That's why it is called dynamic data masking. It's not like in the storage it will be stored the masking data, but while fetching the data, it applies the masking policy dynamically and displays the masked data. That's why it is called dynamic data masking. So the data can be masked or it can be partially masked or it can be obfuscated. That means unclear data. So which user cannot understand. Okay. Or tokenized data. So any type of data, we can apply the masking policies. Okay. Unauthorized users can operate the data as usual, but they cannot view the data. That means suppose he is doing something with the data. Suppose my condition is like select star from this table where phone number equals to this one. Okay, he can put or he cannot put in the where conditions because he doesn't know the phone number. But if he knows, if he has any requirement, so it will work. But he cannot see whatever the hidden data is there. He knows only one phone number and he is filtering the data on that phone number. Okay, so the filter condition will work. That means he can operate the data because in the storage layer it is storing as usual. So he can operate the data, but he cannot unauthorized users, they cannot view the data. Okay. Mostly masking policies applied based on the roles. So even though we are discussing about the conditions, okay, mostly in the real time, these masking policies applied based on the roles. Suppose we have so many roles we had discussed last 3 days, right? Developer role can be there, tester role can be there, analyst role can be there. Okay, end user can be there. So end user definitely they need those data so they can see everything. But developer, we don't need to. We can control them by seeing that data. Why a developer needs this data? So we can control that, right? So based on the roles, also we can operate this data. That means we can control the data. That means we can apply column level security by using roles in the masking policies. Let's see how we do that. But before going to the next slide, okay, so you can see here. So this is the actual data. Okay, the left side, whatever present in this table, this is the actual data. It will be stored like this only in the storage layer. And whenever authorized role, suppose support role is authorized to see this data, and whenever he is executing the query with this role, support role, then it will display the data like this. Okay, but I have another role which is not authorized, unauthorized role, that is unlist role. Okay, I am not giving access to this unlist role in my masking policy. So whenever he fetches the data, whenever he runs the query, it will fetch the data, and while displaying the data, it will apply the masking dynamically. So the data will be like this. So if you see the phone number, it is partially masked. Okay, so we are displaying only last 4 characters of the phone number. And if you see SSN, this is completely masked. Okay, this is partially masked and this is completely masked. So in the database, they don't store like this, but while fetching the data from database and displaying to us, it will apply the masking policies dynamically. Okay. So now this is important. Definitely, you will get at least one question in the interview. So how can you apply column level security in Snowflake? So you have to say, we have a feature called dynamic data masking where we can create masking policies and apply those masking policies on any columns of a table or view. So that's how we provide column level security in Snowflake. Then you may get another question. So how can you create a masking policy? So it's a very simple. So we create masking policies in Snowflake by using create masking policy command. Okay, and the syntax will be like this. Okay, so based on, suppose if I want to apply masking policy based on the role, if I want to create my masking policy based on the role, how we can do? So this is how create masking policy, and we have to put some name. Okay, create masking policy, policy name as. Okay, so on which column we are applying, on which column, one column or two columns also we can select. Okay, but we'll be applying on only one column, so the other columns will be conditional columns. We'll see that in the next one. Okay, so this is the syntax: create masking policy, policy name as. So on which column we are applying, okay, that we are just parameterizing here as value, and just we can put any name here. Okay, value, and we have to put some data type, which data type you are applying the masking policy, that one we have to select here. Okay, and returns, so what it will return. So when you suppose I have a text called Janardhan, okay, and I'm applying masking policy, that masking policy on that string field. So what is the data type it will return? So it should be string only. That is one limitation. So whatever we are passing as the input, so okay, the output should be also of the same type. So if we are put, if we are converting a varchar type or string type, it should be a varchar or string only. So if you are masking a numeric type, then the return type should be numeric only. We'll see this in practice. This is important. Okay, and so this is the syntax: create masking policy, policy name as the input parameters, and returns what is the output. Okay, what is the output data type, and we have to put this symbol. Okay, arrow symbol, rightwards arrow symbol, and we have to this is the definition of this masking policy. Okay, so whenever you ask, they may ask you, so how can you define the body or definition of the masking policy? So you have to say, by using case condition, I can create the masking policy. So case, so what is here? Case, you must be aware of what is case in SQL, right? The same one we are using here. Case when current role. Okay, so if we want to fetch the current role, okay, in Snowflake, we can just select current role, current underscore role, and parentheses. So if we do this, the whatever the role we are currently operating will get that role. Okay, so when this current role is in payroll, okay, so this is one of the role created in the Snowflakes. So my role is this one, then display the actual value. Okay, otherwise else, for all other roles you display it as stars. Okay, so whenever my current role is, that means whenever I am working with this role, then display me the original data. So whatever we are passing this as val, so display that original data. Otherwise, okay, if any other unauthorized user, that means other than the payroll role, whoever is accessing this data, just show it as stars. Okay, the masked data. So this is how we can apply the mask. We can create the masking policies. Okay, it's simple. Create masking policy, policy name, the input arguments. Okay, returns whatever the data type we are passing for the input, the same data type we have to mention, and one rightwards arrow symbol, and we have to mention whatever the conditions in the case. Case when current role in the payroll, then the actual value, otherwise the masked value. Okay, So this is how mostly we 99% we apply, okay, the dynamic data masking by using roles only. So suppose I have another requirement where I want to apply my masking policy based on some condition. Okay, we'll see what is condition in this example. So suppose I am creating one masking policy, create masking policy, email visibility. Okay, so in the top one, I was hiding this SSN of employee. Okay, so employee SSN mask, but here the email masking. Okay, so create masking policy, policy name as. Okay, here if you see, I'm passing two arguments. So the first argument should be whatever the argument, whatever the column we have to apply the masking policy. First column should be always whatever the column we are going to apply the masking policy. And the second, third, fourth, it can be a conditional columns. So on which columns we are going to check our conditions. So it can be any number of arguments from there. But the first thing is the masking policy column where we want to apply the masking policy. And the second, the third, fourth, these arguments can be uh, based on our conditions. So if I want to check some 4-5 conditions, okay, 4-5 conditions on 4-5 fields, I have to mention all these fields here. Okay, and I'm returning a varchar. Okay, so because my first input argument is varchar, that's why I'm returning varchar. Now how to define the body for this? Okay, how to define the masking policy for this? Suppose case when current role is admin. Okay, when current role is the admin, then email. So whatever we are passing here, email, so you display that email as it is. And I have another condition when visibility equals to public. So visibility is a column present in the table. Okay, visibility is a column present in the table. Okay, or we can pass this an argument like runtime argument. So whenever we are applying, mostly it's a table, it's a column present in the table only. Okay, because we are applying the policies on tables columns, right? So suppose when this visibility equals to public, that means whenever, so we can apply only some number of rows. Okay, so what this will allow, we can apply only some number of rows where the visibility column equals to public. Then then display the actual email. Okay, else. Okay, so when these two conditions are false, when my current role is not admin and when visibility is not public, then you mask the data. Okay, you can mask data any type you want. Okay, so like this we apply masking policies based on the roles and based on the conditions. So here condition is nothing but, here visibility is nothing but, it's a column present in our database, a column present in our table. When this column value is public, then you display the actual data. Whenever you are whenever both conditions are not met, then you mask the data. So these are the two ways we can apply the we can create the masking policies based on the role and based on the condition. Okay, so now let's see how to how to apply this policy. Okay, so applying masking policies. So after creating masking policies, we can apply them wherever we have a requirement to protect the data or hide the data. So we are done with the masking policies. Now we can apply those masking policies wherever. Okay, we want to hide the data or we want to protect the data. This policy should be applied at column level. Okay, so we cannot apply these policies at table level or view level, but we can apply these policies at column level, because whatever the input parameters here I am mentioning, so they are columns from the tables. So we can apply these masking policies at column level. We can apply same masking policy on multiple columns from multiple tables and views. Okay, so whatever I told earlier, so if we create policy one time, suppose I have I have applied this SSN, I have created a masking policy to hide this SSN. Suppose this SSN is present in multiple tables. Okay, so we can simply use same masking policy in all the tables. On multiple columns we can apply. So if I have a similar requirement where I have to hide not only SSN, maybe here the name is containing the SSN. Okay, but you can create a policy name with the general. Okay, and you can apply on same table Okay, 2 columns also you can apply the same masking policy. Okay, there is no restriction over that. So we can apply same masking policy on multiple columns of a same table or multiple columns of different tables and views. Okay, now how to set this masking policy or how to apply this masking policy? So this is very simple. So your table is already there, some data is already there in the table, and you have created your masking policy, but you haven't applied the masking policy. So this is how you have to set your masking policy. So we use alter table command for this. Alter table, okay, table name, alter table name, modify column and column name. Alter table name, modify column name. Okay, and this is the standard keyword. Set masking policy. Set masking policy, and whatever the masking policies we have created in the earlier step. So I had created the masking policy employee SSN. Okay, so I am applying that masking policy on this column. So this is my table. Public data employee is the table, and SSN is the column. Okay, and I am applying this masking policy on the column of employee table. So this is very simple. Alter table name, modify column name, set masking policy and policy name. Okay, so this is the syntax. Suppose if I want to apply masking policies on 2 fields of the same table. Okay, so this is the syntax. You can mention any number of policies. You can alter any number of columns here. So alter table name, modify column name, set masking policy. For SSN, I am setting the masking policy employee SSN mask. Okay, I have another column. Okay, modify column, email column. I want to set a different masking policy for this. So modify column email, set masking policy, email visibility using, because here we have we are not only using one column along with the masking column, we are passing one more parameter called uh, conditional columns, right? So we have to mention those by you by the statement using. Okay, set masking policy email visibility using. So this is the policy where you want to apply. This is the first argument, and this is what you are checking the condition, right? Visibility. So if you see here, if my visibility is public, so that means you are checking a condition. That means this visibility should be passed to the passed to the masking policy that we are applying. So I am mentioning like this: email visibility using email comma visibility. So like this we can apply masking policies on multiple columns of a table by using single alter command. So in future, suppose at the time of applying first masking policy, I have only this. Later, if you want to apply, you can you can write one more alter command and you can apply this masking policy later also. So this is how we set masking policies or applying the masking policies on the columns of a table or a view. Okay, and removing masking policies. And after some time I realized, so my data protection is not required and I want to clear that masking policy, and every user should be able to see the actual data, not the masked data. So in that case, how to do, how you can unset the masking policy, or how can you remove the masking policy that present on a column? So this is again simple. Here we have to use unset. Alter table name, modify column name, unset masking policy. So here no need to specify the masking policy, because on one column you can create only one masking policy. So if you are unsetting that masking policy, you don't need to specify the name, because anyway there is only one masking policy, you are unsetting that. So the syntax is alter table name, modify column name, unset masking policy. And you can unset on all the fields of a table by just giving a comma. Okay, alter table name, modify column SSN, unset masking policy, comma, modify column email, unset masking policy. This is very simple. So the same syntax, instead of set you are using unset, but for setting you have to specify the masking policy name also, but for unset no need to specify the masking policy. Okay, so this is how we unset or remove the masking policies. Now there is a requirement. So I want to alter my masking policy, or I want to drop my masking policy. So how to do that? So for altering, it's very simple again. Alter masking policy. Okay. Alter masking policy, policy name, and we use this keyword set body. Okay. We use this keyword set body. Alter masking, alter masking policy, policy name, set body, and we specify this right arrow, and we have to mention the modified case statement. Okay, so suppose if I have a case statement like this. Okay, here I want to change my role, so I want to include multiple roles, admin comma user also. Okay, so here I can put when current role in admin comma users. Okay, so like that I want to modify the body, so I just have to mention this case statement, this part only in the body. So here it's like that. Okay, alter masking policy, policy name, set body, and within the here we have to mention that case statement whatever we are going to modify. Okay, so this is modifying the content, modifying the body of a past policy. But if I want to alter the policy name, okay, it is simple again. Alter masking policy, policy name, rename to the new policy name we have to provide. Okay, so this is how we alter the body and alter the name. We rename the masking policy by using alter command. Okay, it's a very simple only, and we'll see this in practice today, how we can alter. Okay, and so later I realized, so there is no need of that masking policy and I want to drop it. So how to drop? Simple, drop masking policy, policy name. Drop masking policy, policy name. But there is one restriction. So if you want to drop any masking policy, first of all, you should unset that masking policy wherever you applied. Suppose I have three fields where I applied this masking policy. From all the three fields, you have to unset the masking policy by using unset command. Okay, then only you can drop the masking policy. Otherwise, if you just try to execute drop masking policy, it will throw one error. So this is being applied on multiple columns. So please unset them first. Okay, so this is one restriction. And so these are the limitations actually. Before dropping masking policies, we should unset them. And data type of input and output values must be same. So whatever I said. So we are passing some input parameters, right? So here I am passing input as a email, and my output also should be, if my input data type is varchar, the output data type should be varchar. We'll see this in practical. If we specify some other data type here, what will happen? Okay, understood. So this is how we alter or drop the masking policies. Okay, so today also I will utilize some data present here in the Snowflake sample data table. Okay, so I'm not going to load any data from AWS or from any other tables. Okay, so here we can utilize this data. Okay, first of all, okay, I want to operate. There are different databases I had created for my testing purpose. So we'll operate with the database whatever we had created day before yesterday. So I'm using this database public DB. Okay, and I'm creating a schema to store my policies, masking policies. So I'm creating a schema, create schema my policies in this public database. Okay, so you can refresh and see public database. So my policy schema came. Okay, but I don't have any policies here. Okay, so let's first of all set some input data. First of all, we have to set our input data where we want to apply the masking policies, right? So here what I'm trying to do, okay, I have some tables over the Snowflake sample data. Okay, so there are some tables, and suppose if you see here we have a customer table in TPCHSF1. Okay, so and how many rows are there? Some 150,000 rows are there. So I will utilize this table for our policy for today, applying masking policies today. So what here I am trying to do, okay, try to clone from sample data. So this sample data is there, but I cannot apply because this is shared data. I cannot apply any masking policies over the shared data. Okay, so what I'm trying to create a table in my public schema with same this data. So we can clone, right? But the thing is, clone won't work on the shared databases. So because these shared tables are stored in the Snowflake main account, right? So that means you know the cloning. So whenever you apply cloning, what will happen? There will be no extra cost for the cloned copies, okay? But the storage cost will be there for the actual copy. But here we don't have that actual copy also. That's why whenever you try to clone this table, okay, the shared one, so you cannot do because it's a shared database. I have some table in the customers. Okay, let me drop that before. Okay, so I'm trying to create a customer table, okay, by cloning, but it is saying so cannot clone from a table that was imported from share. Okay, so what in that case, what we have to do? So we can create a table in our public schema by using this statement: create table name as select star from this table. Okay, so whatever we want to take. Okay, so I'm just executing the statement. Okay, now the table has been created and you can check that. Select star from public customer. Okay, so this table is available now. So we can apply masking policies on this table now. So, but before that, okay, if I want to set the masking policies based on some roles, okay, there should be some roles present in our database, right? So we have created some roles in last 2 3 days. We have created some roles. So if you see here, I have roles like sales admin, sales users, market admin, market users. Okay, by default public role. I have different roles. Okay, so first of all, before sharing the data, I have to create those users if they are not exist, and if I have to create some roles if they are not exist. That's why I am following some order while explaining you guys. I'm following some order. You're understanding me, right? Suppose if I bring this concept before the roles and users thing, you cannot understand. That's why I explained the roles thing first. Now I'm coming to this shares thing. Okay, this data masking policies. Okay, suppose I have some roles already present in the database. I have created them uh, day before yesterday. Now we are going to use the same roles for our testing purpose. So before I told you clearly, right, Arjita. So before applying any or before sharing any table, first of all, we have to grant the usage on the database and schema. Then only we can share that data or we can grant privileges on that actual table. So here I have some four roles: sales user, sales admin, market users, and market admin. Now I have created this customer table. If I don't provide the privileges, if I don't provide the grant privileges for these users, they cannot definitely they cannot access this table. So first of all, after creating the table, we have to grant the accesses. So I'm just selecting this grant usage on public DB to this sales user, and I'm grant usage on schema of public schema to the role sales users. Okay, and the same way I'm granting the select only giving select access to this table customer table to the role sales users. Okay, so I'm executing the same commands for all other roles: sales admin, market users, and market admin. Okay, you will see, you will get so why I'm applying these roles and why I'm applying the granting access, because we are going to apply masking policies based on the roles only. So we can log in with those roles, we can switch to these roles and we can check the data, how it is coming. Okay. So now I have created my table. I have granted the access to other users present in our database. Okay. Now I want to create some masking policies. Okay. So how we create the masking policies? It's simple. First of all, before creating the masking policies, let's see what are all the fields present in the customer table. So if you see here, customer key is there. Let's preview the data otherwise. So if you see here, customer key I have, customer name I have, okay, I have address, I have nation key, I have phone number, I have account balance, I have market segment, and I have some comment. Okay. So here my requirement is I want to hide the phone number and I want to partially hide this. That means I want to display only last four numbers. Okay. And I want to hide remaining all characters from the phone number. And from account balance, I want to hide entire account balance. I don't want to display anything account balance. So these are the two fields we are going to operate now. Okay. So for this I have to create two masking policies, right? Because this is here we want to mask the characters partially and here I want to mask completely. So let's see how we can create masking policies for them. First of all, I want to apply masking policy on the phone number. So the syntax is create or replace masking policy. Okay. And the masking policy name I'm putting as customer phone. Okay. This is my masking policy name. Create masking policy name as, so I'm giving the one parameter only, value string and return string. Okay. So my input is a string and I want to return the output as also string. And case when, okay, current role in, when current role in sales admin or market admin, okay, sales admin or market admin, then display the actual value. So whatever we are passing, so whatever present in the table, just display that as it is. But when my current role is not sales admin or market admin, then for all other roles you display it as uh, like this. So what here I'm trying to do, so I'm putting some this one, okay, hash characters, okay, and I want to specify the last four characters, right? I want to display the last four characters as it is. So I'm writing one this one concatenation. So hash characters concatenation, and I'm calculating one substring of. So if you see in the phone number how many these characters are there, okay, 336, okay, 10, 11, and 12th character is this 9. Okay, that means I want to select the four characters from 12th characters. That's why I'm specifying substring of value whatever we are passing, okay, and four characters from the 12th character. So this will give me, so first 11 characters it will come like this, and from 12th character it will display the actual value. So I want to, if we want to partially mask, then we have to apply substring and we have to concatenate with the masked characters. So these are my masked characters and these are the last four digits of my phone number, and I am concatenating both of them. Okay. So this is how we can operate this data. Okay. Case when my current role is sales admin or market admin, then display the actual value. Otherwise, else display the masked value. So this is how I'm creating a masking policy. So this masking policy has been created. Now I'm creating one more masking policy for my account balance. Okay. So how I am creating? So create or replace masking policy customer account balance. This is the name I am giving as value. So this is a numeric field, right? That's why I'm giving value number. Okay. A returns number. Okay. Value number and returns a number. It will return a number. Okay. So case when current role is in sales admin or market admin, here also I'm applying the same conditions. Okay. Whenever my current role is in sales admin and market admin, then display the actual account balance. Otherwise, display some masked characters. Okay. So I'm defining a policy like this. Okay. So here I'm creating one more policy. Okay. For account balance only, but I'm just putting another name, customer account balance 2. Okay. Similar kind of masking policy I'm creating with a different name, customer policy account balance 2. Okay. This is a different masking policy because I'm putting one extra character 2 at the end, and I want to uh, put the condition like when my current role is in sales admin or market admin, then actual value, otherwise 0. Okay, so the difference between both the masking policies is here I'm applying the masking characters, here I'm applying just simply 0. Okay, I want to display account balance as 0. So we'll see later why I am creating two masking policies. Okay, so I have created this already, right? Okay, I am creating this. So I have created both the masking policies now on phone number and account balance. Okay. Now we have to apply these masking policies on those columns. Okay. So how to apply? Applying the masking policies on the columns of customer table. So alter table, table name, modify column, phone number, set masking policy, customer phone. Okay. This was the syntax I was explaining, right? Alter table, table name, modify column, column name, set the masking policy and policy name. Okay, so just apply it. And on this customer account balance, I want to apply the policy customer account balance. Let's apply this. Alter table. Okay, table name, modify column, account balance, set masking policy. So I have created two masking policies for account balance. So first I am applying the account balance one. Okay, so we have applied. Now the data is there. Okay, masking policies are there and masking policies has been applied on the tables. Now it's time to verify. Okay, so how the data will come for different users. So I want to switch to sales users because in my conditions I kept only sales admin and market admin can see the actual data, and the owner who is creating this database definitely can see the data. Even though we are not specifying in the masking policies, the owner can see all the data. Okay, so I am the owner, I am the sysadmin, I am the owner, so I can see the data anytime from the table. Actual data I can see. Okay, and so suppose I'm switching to sales user. So we can switch in two ways. One way is so we can switch from here, change to uh, sales users. Okay. Otherwise, I can simply execute this command. Use role sales user. So just observe. So here it is sysadmin, and when I run this, it is going to the sales users. Okay. Now let's see the data in this customer table. Because we have granted the access, this is important. If you don't grant the access here by using this grant usage and grant select, you cannot even see this data here. Okay, so I'm just selecting star from this public schema and customer. Okay, so now it is displaying one error. Numeric value is not recognized. That's why I have created one more masking policy. Now you are understanding, right? So we have a numeric value and we try to apply this one. Okay, this is a ash is a character, not a number. So even though you are saying you are returning a number, but you are returning a string one. You are returning a string. That's why your masking policy or your select statement. So it will not throw error at the time of creating masking policy or at the time of applying the masking policy, but it will throw error at the time of fetching the data from table, because it is not applying on the actual storage layer, right? It is applying while fetching the data dynamically. That's why it is throwing error while fetching the data. Okay, that's why we should be very careful while creating masking policies. Okay, so whenever you are returning a number, it should be a number type only. That's why I have created another masking policy with numeric type 0. So whatever the account balance present in the customer, you just display it as 0. Okay, so now how to change this? Okay, how to change this? So we are in the sales user, and so we are in we try to select the data, but it is throwing error. Now we have to change the policy. So sales user is the not admin, he cannot change the policy. So switch back to sysadmin. Okay, and you alter your this thing. First of all, I have to unset this masking policy. Before altering it, uh, I will unset this masking policy, and I'll set another masking policy. I want to change the masking policy, right? So for that, first of all, we have to if I simply execute this, okay, what will happen? So there is already one masking policy applied on the account balance. So you cannot apply any other masking policy. It will throw an error like this. So first, before changing the masking policy, I have to unset the existing masking policy. So now I'm done with the by using unset command. Alter table name, modify column account balance, and unset this masking policy. Okay, so now I want to set the another masking policy where I have specified the numeric return type. Okay, so alter table name, modify column name, set masking policy. Here I am selecting different masking policy. Okay, now so still I'm the sysadmin role. I'm in the sysadmin role. So just change back to sales admin or okay. So first of all we see this one only. So use role sales users and now try to select the data. Now see how it is coming data. So all the characters from the phone field, all the characters are masked except last four characters. So you can see any number of rows. For all the rows, it is like that only. And if you see the account balance, so this is a numeric type. That's why it's coming as 0 for all customers. Okay. So hope you understanding, right? So we have created masking policy, we have applied, and we switched back to the other roles. Okay, and we are trying to select the data. Now switch to sales admin, where I have granted, where I authorized in the masking policy. I'm authorizing sales admin and market admin to see the actual data. Okay, so all other users all other roles we are not specifying here, they cannot access this data. Now just log in with the sales admin, switch to the sales admin role. Okay, use role sales admin. No, this is not where. Okay, use role sales admin. Now here my role is sales admin and I'm just trying to select my data. So here you can see whenever you are operating with the sales admin who is authorized, he is able to see the access data. Now let's go with market admin. So we have some other roles where we granted the access. Okay, market admin, switch to market admin role and now try to select this data. So we have authorized market admin also to select this data, to see this data. That's why the actual characters are coming. Now let's try with the other role. Market users. Okay, so here you can confirm it is market users and try to select this data. Now you see again the masked data is coming when you are operating with the other non-authorized user. Okay, so you are understanding, right? When the masking policy is applied at the time of fetching the data dynamically, these policies are applied. Okay, while displaying the data, those policies will be applied. Okay, I hope you are clear, right? Okay, now I want to mask my I want to alter my policy. So currently my requirement is earlier my requirement was to display only last four characters of the phone number. But in future, so the customers don't they are asking, okay, I don't even want to display the last four characters. You completely mask it. So in that time you have to alter your policy. How you can alter? So I have given the syntax, right? Alter masking policy, okay, policy name and set body. Okay, alter masking policy name, set body, and inside the case condition we have to change. So earlier I was applying some substring and concatenating. Now I don't want to display even a single character of my phone field, so I'm simply changing it to complete mask data. or you can say like you can type something like this. Okay, masked data, and I'm in market users. Let's switch back to sysadmin. Okay, so alter masking policy, and I'm just putting something like this. Okay, so the masking policy was altered. Now let's try to switch back to sales users and select the data. Okay, so I'm in sales users role now and try to see this data. So here it is, here you can see, right? So the policy was altered. So we can see the masked data here, completely masked, or you can say something like this, masked. Okay, and if you see, we did not do any changes for the account field. That's why it is still coming as 0. Okay, so this is how you can alter policies at any time based on the request. Okay, so that is about altering the masking policies. And so suppose if I want to see my masking policies, okay, how can we see? Okay, show masking. There is a command called show masking policies. So it will show you your masking policies. So currently we have created 3 masking policies. They are present under public schema and they are present under my policy schema. Okay, so you may not be they are may not be visible here. Okay, in the policies, but they present. Okay, they present under that policy only. I'm not sure for policies and some other schema level objects. We don't see them here, but still we can see here. Okay, they are schema level objects stored in the my policy schema. Okay, and if I want to see the definition of that masking policy, so we can use, see these two commands are similar anywhere. If you want to just see what are all the objects present, you can just simply run this show masking policy, show table, show views, show external objects. Okay, you can simply say run this show command. If you want to see the description or body, okay, or if you want to see the inside the query, so we have to use describe command. Describe masking policy customer phone. Now here it displays. Okay, this is the body of your this one. Okay, so this is how we can see masking policies, and we can see the description of that masking policy. And to see wherever you applied the masking policy, suppose I have one masking policy and I want to drop that masking policy. So if that is requirement, you have to know, right, wherever it was applied, you have to unset that. Before dropping masking policy, you have to unset from all the fields wherever you have applied that. So how can you get to know where your policy was applied? So this is a standard query. Okay, select star from table. This information schema will be maintaining all this metadata. Okay, so select star from this table, information schema dot policy references. So this is the table, stores the details of all masking policies we are creating. Okay, and we have to specify them which masking policy I want to see where it was applied. Okay, so let's see this. So this currently this mask phone policy was applied only on one field. Okay, so this is the policy name and policy schema. This is policy name and this is policy kind. Okay, I'm not sure what is this policy kind, but we are operating only with masking policies. Okay, and so where I applied, so this will give my actual this one on public database, public schema, customer table, and this is the field where I applied. Okay, reference column name. So if we have multiple columns where we applied our masking policy, it will give all the details here. Okay, so it's a simple command and standard command. Okay, just we have to change the policy name here and we can check. Okay, so and how to apply and views. Okay, okay, suppose I have some views, I hope already exist. There are no views. Okay, I have some views in my views. I have some views, right? So we had created some view, security view and materialized view day before yesterday. So now I want to apply masking policy on the view. So how can we do that? So the same masking policy I am applying on the this view underscore customer. Okay, alter alter view, because we are applying on the view, right? Alter view name, modify the column phone, and set the masking policy customer phone. Okay, so let's apply this column already attached. Okay, so for this already some policy was attached. Let's unset that. Okay, so there was some masking policy already. Now set I'm setting this customer phone masking policy. Okay, on the view, and it was applied. Now just switch back to sales users and try to select the data from this view. Select star from my views, view underscore customer. So now you see, so because it is sales user, it is displaying partial data. So in my view, I don't have all the columns. So I have only customer key, customer name, address and phone. I don't have this masking account balance field because I created only view with my contact details. That means address and phones. So you can see here, see it is masked partially. And when you try with the market users, okay, suppose. Okay, so you can see it's completely masked. The data is completely masked. Okay, not partially. So this is how we can apply the same way. Instead of alter table, we just write alter view command. Rest everything is same. Okay, so we can apply masking policies over the views also. Now, how to drop a masking policy? Okay, so I am trying to drop this masking policy. Okay, but it is saying, okay, so cannot perform drop because you have applied your masking policy on some tables already. Okay, okay, no, sorry, this is different error. So you cannot drop with other users, right? If you are a sysadmin, then only you can drop. So I'm trying to drop with sysadmin, but it is saying customer phone cannot be dropped because it is associated with one or more entities. So you have to unset this, okay, and then only you can drop. Okay, suppose let's see the same. I want to drop this policy. So it is saying, no, you cannot drop this account balance policy because associated with one or more entities. So how we can drop this now? First, we have to alter and we have to unset this masking policy. Okay. So the unset was completed and now let's try to drop. So the policy got dropped. Okay, so before dropping any masking policies, we have to unset that masking policy from all the fields where we have applied, and that information we can get from this statement. Wherever we applied that masking policy, get all those details, unset the masking policy, then drop the masking policy. Okay, so this is the lab practice. I have uploaded this file already. Okay, so here we have seen how to get some input data and how to, first of all, before sharing the data, okay, or before granting, before applying the masking policies, first of all, we have to share this data with the other customers or other roles or other users. Okay, so I have granted the access, then I have created the masking policies, then I have applied the masking policies, then I try to select, switch the roles and try to see the data, how it is coming. Okay. So interview purpose is, this is very important. You will get only two questions. Okay. So how will you apply column level security in Snowflake? So you have to say by using dynamic data masking, we can apply column level security where I can create masking policies and I can apply those masking policies on columns of a table or view. Then the second question is how can you create masking policy or how you will apply the masking policy. So for creating masking policies, I have a syntax called create masking policy name, and I have to provide this input parameters and return type I have to provide. Then the case condition I have to write. So how you apply the masking policy? Then you have to use alter command, alter table name, modify column name, set masking policy name. Okay, so these three questions you may get. Most 70-80% of the interviews will get these questions, but basic idea is also enough. But you have to remember these syntaxes. If you practice, you can remember easily. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.